Good morning, everyone. We're going to look at REST API resources and JSON in Lifetechocms today. First, what is an API? API is an application programming interface, which allows you to create an interface that lets other applications to communicate to your own application. Also, it exposes operations on your resources. API allows you to expose some operations on your resources to your endpoint. Also, it avoids direct DB sharing and encourage clean boundaries. With API, it restricts you from sharing the whole database to other applications, and also encourage you to have a clean boundary on how they can access your application. The next one is Restful API. Once we have talked about API, let's talk about the method of sending data between two programming languages. We have REST, we have SOAP, and others. So today we're going to talk about Restful API. So REST is representational stateless transfer, which is built on HTTP, focus on resources, not action. And also it is stateless, meaning that every request includes all needed information. In REST transfer method, all the data they are going to send and received back as a response does not require any storage session, does not require any pre-data. So it is only sending all the data to you at once. There is no kept data elsewhere. Also, it involves HTTP method when you're using RESTful API, which are get, post, put, part, delete in HTTP method. The last one is representation. In RESTful API, you need to pick a particular representation on how you are going to send your data back. There is JSON, there is SMS, there is text, there is others. But it's good for you to pick a format for consistency so that the front-end application will know that okay, the data they are getting back from you is going to be in this format. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about JSON. We're picking JSON. So what is JSON? JSON is JavaScript JavaScript object notation, which is a simple text format for sending data between two applications. Look at this scenario. This scenario is telling you a format of how JSON looks like, sending a record of one book from the book database table. So this is how it's going to be. The book ID is 123, the title is clean architecture, and the rest. So the last point here is let's look at a scenario on how REST API work, API and resources, how they work. So let's assume that you have an application for school library here, and the school decided that they want their 3 faculties to have their own front-end application: science, engineering, and art faculty. In science faculty, they are using mobile app Kotlin. In engineering, they are using desktop, which is C#.net. In art faculty, they are using desktop, which is what? VB.net. So all these 3 faculties, they are going to consume this your own application to render data to their students. So it is very simple. After you've finished creating your own application here, you now create a boundary for them, to access resource or resources from your own application and get back to them to a particular representation, which we pick JSON. You can see this now. This is the endpoint here. This is your API here. If you look at this application now, these 3 applications here, they are rendering data to the student without even accessing your database at all. They are going to access your resources to the endpoint you've created for them, and they get back this format. So in the live scenario, the student of these faculties will be thinking that they are the one that built the database. No, they did not build the whole application. They are just consuming data and they're rendering it for the student here for them to use. So this is a typical scenario of what we are talking about. In our next video, we're going to explain more on endpoint. Thank you so much.